All right. This is going to be a trade review for December 18th, 2019. Today I found to be a bit more of a difficult day to trade. Let's see what went wrong. So I took quite a few trades. You can see 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, I believe. We'll go over the first one here. For $25. It was a long. I was in for 322, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. It won against me 4, and it went in my favor 4. So let's go ahead and take a look at that at 9:01. So this particular trade, I went long. The way this profile is, it's tapering. For some reason, the profile hasn't printed the volume for the overnight down here, but the overnight was definitely lower than what you're seeing. However, the way this profile was tapering for this particular session with the size, this just looked like a bounce. So I was looking for a long. Even though pretty much everything's against me. The strength meter's against me. It looks like the stochastics are all oversold here. So that's kind of a good thing. Well, not really. They can get embedded. So where do I get in? This level? Yeah. So the way this is just sitting here, the way the taper is profiled, I'm looking for this particular level, it looks like, to get cleared out. It needs to get weak. If it gets weak, it's worth a shot, and then it should pull back into the point of control. That's right there. That was it. Now, what's weird is I wanted this level, but for some reason, it gave me the price here. Show you that again. I don't know. That's never really happened. You'll see me click this 97 even. And it queued me here, but for some reason it bumped me up there, which that's not okay. That shouldn't have happened like that. So my exit is going to, before I get any deeper in this video, my play of the day was to take a good fade off like sort of a volume edged area. And my report card was to the predefined risk areas, which I would give myself a B. There's a few areas where I didn't really know where to predefine my risk after taking the trade. So that needs to be tightened up. So this trade does take a little bit of time. You can see I'm looking for profits in front of the point of control. There's just size has been sitting there for a while. Got the 300 right here. Theoretically, I should have been in here. I don't know what happened. Markets was acting a little weird today. It just... Funny thing is, looking at it now, it's relatively average per bid ask, but later in the afternoon, the market thickened up for a while. So I'm looking to get out around here if things go wrong. You can see me covering the trade. Because you got that 388 and that 415 prop in the market up. If it starts eating away into that price, I have to get out of it. So the 1 minute's rolling over, that's a good sign. But you really don't know. So you can see it's on its way up at this point. Now I feel pretty good about it. You kind of have that quick shove. Now the nerve-wracking thing is it's come up above my price by a tick. It could collapse back in, so this is sort of, there you go. It has to get through at least 2 ticks for me to be a little more comfortable, because sometimes it'll pop through, like you can see the price kept stalling here. Sometimes it'll pop through by 1 tick and then fall back in. So I need to see at least 2 ticks. Just quite a bit of patience here. 225 in the queue at 98.25. So it's looking good for a full point. You can see I'm covering here. And that's what I did was I ended up canceling and pushing it up because it just was moving so easy. It looked like, you know what? I might as well attempt to get the point in control. I think this is our reversal. The profile is very odd. It's not filled in right here. And this isn't picture perfect, and that's going to cause a lot of turbulence, which it sort of does. Only 5 came in there, so I would have still been in the queue. And I decided to get out here because this could be a bounce off of the point of control, which does happen. And then it's going to retest down here. So I decided, I'm going to take it for what it is. See where it goes. Yeah, it ends up falling back in. So really, I think that was a good play. All in all. Wish I got more out of it, but, what can you do? Let's go ahead and check out the next trade. But before we do, we're going to check something else out. Anyways, this is the play I wanted right here. See how it's just nice. Let's actually rewind it quite a bit because I do need to review this. Yeah, that just hits so hard right there. So this is where we were originally testing. What did I took that one trade somewhere right here. And from here to here, somewhere in here. This is the play. I was looking for a... So this would, if I would have executed this would have been my playbook play of the day, so my objective would have been completed. This is what I was looking for. But I was only looking for it to breach the low. You can't see over here by 1 tick and then reverse. It breached by quite a few ticks, and that just... I'm still trying to learn how to nail this play. It's kind of difficult. But we do have size. You can see I attempted to get short here. Because, generally, it just... I would have expected it to go through here by only a tick or 2 before it does this dramatic reverse that you saw before I rewound it. However, it went down by quite a bit. It's tapering so much, and then you have the size here that I just didn't realize this was it. I thought this would be a downtrend. I canceled the order because I just didn't feel right. It felt like the setup I'm looking for is gonna go, but at the same time, I thought it would be a breakdown. Here's the overnight low, and that's why I thought it could be a breakdown to the low, just because of how much it moved from here. But at the same time, this I was just confused. I wasn't sure what direction to play it. And this is the bounce. It's a hard bounce too. So let's see what. So I'm trying to figure this out. And that's it. That's right there. That's it. Now watch this. I attempt to get the fill. I wanted that. Now you can see I'm chasing it. So I tried to get in here at 96.25. I came in and I missed that next price up. And I decided, you know what? Just don't even fucking chase it. Just let it go. Just let it fucking go because I don't want to buy a top. You can see I'm sitting there thinking about getting it. But at the same time, this seems like this could be a rollover, because if I was to draw a trend line from here, from this pivot point all the way down, it would sort of line up for a pivot here. I did want the 25. That's ideally where I wanted to get in. Just a little too slow. See where it goes from this point forward. Yep, see, it stalls out and then it goes. And I could have chased it and got in it, but it just wasn't worth it. So, you know, I'd be up at this point 1, 2, 3, 4 a point, maybe more if I would have got it, but just a little too slow. That would have hit. I would have hit my objective. Does it hit the point of control? It flags. I think it eventually does. 97.50. That would have been a solid trade. So let's review this one. It's a 3 minute and 44-second duration. It is a long, and it went against me too. It went in my favor 4. I took 3 out of it. So let's go ahead. 9:13. No, so it looks like I may have already done the play. Ah, yes. So I do nail this move. I just nail it a bit later. Hold on, taking a fucking screenshot. Okay. So you can see that has this V shape right here. It sort of stops in this zone. So I'm looking for it to at least, because it looks like there's a high probability this play is going to hit the point of control. So since I missed the initial move down here at 96.25, this would be the next zone that I would consider taking profits if I had gotten into here. This just is a zone where there's definitely going to be some sort of hesitation. And if it can get through it, I know that I can make a few ticks. It immediately blows through my limit order. I'm looking to get out at like 96.75 because it's this high node. You can see the market struggled at it. This is not a good sign. It's almost over my exit here. Luckily, it only goes this far against me. Stochastic, what's nice though is this stochastic, which actually rolled right on this move, I believe. But anyways, the stochastic is looking good. It's aligning itself with this particular move. So generally, there's a higher probability it's going to get through. Either this is going to stall here, or this is going to continue to go up. And if it stalls, it's okay. I should be able to get out of it for not much of anything. But right here, I don't see it just turning back around at this point. Plus, after this dramatic push up, this little test of the tail, these new little lows, and then this turn up, sort of this is V bounce. It's gonna touch this point of control. You can see I'm trying to work my way out for 3 ticks, which I actually get. Strength meter's up there. I did reset it, so you have to let more contracts come in before you get more of an accurate reading on it. It's not the fastest plays today by any means. Just you can see just the volume at times just trickles in. Got this 411 on my entry, which is always nice. Always nice. Should bang into that. Just waiting for it. This is a higher node, so it's kind of struggling to get off of it. So it's a little bit turbulent here. I think this particular trade is very difficult for me to queue out in. If I'm not mistaken, this trade, I think I had a hard time actually trying to get out. Notice how the market's starting to thicken up. You have like 300, 400 on almost every price. So it's pretty thick. Just an absolute grinder. Now, I do have a concern because that 455 is propping the market up that maybe it's a spoof. Look at it. There it goes. That's the money. So, I hope I'm not taking fucking screenshots. So it does blast through. I could have got more out of it. But the thing is, I mean, generally these trades are a little trickier. It did exactly what I thought it would. Bounce here, and then theoretically it should have been held right around here would have been the entry for the long, ideally, and I would have hit my objective, and that would have been a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would have been a nice 8 ticker. You know, been up. Nice to been up at 125 in the morning, but hey, you can't, you know, what can you do? What can you do? Let's get on to the next one, which is now we start losing everything at this point. 3. So this particular trade goes in my favor 4, and it goes against me 3. So I'm not sure what I did wrong here. I know what the setup was, and I'll explain it. It's a short, the first short of the day. It has a 3-minute and 23-second duration. So you can see where that little pop-up was from the last trade. I got out somewhere here. You can't see it. So we popped up, hit the right where this low node was in the VWAP, and we're starting to drift down. It's a 3-second chart currently. So you're going to see a lot of sideways. It's just the volume isn't. It's just we're not having price levels. It's just so sideways at times. But look how thick the structure is here. And if you look at it overall, and near the end of the day, you'll see all of this start to fill in and even itself out. But this is like the bottom of a perfect bell curve forming, and then eventually in here it gets filled out throughout the afternoons. And it also, that 1 minute, it looks like it rolls right at that pop-up, which is interesting. Let's continue. So I'm looking for a short here because for me, it's a test of the point of control. When you test the point of control, generally it'll bounce and it'll come back and test this low. And quite frankly, I was looking for a breakout to the low towards the overnight, which never happened. So you can see it's been stalling at this point because it's sort of a high volume to edge. Strength meters against me, the stochastics oversold. I just need to see if this trade makes any fucking sense now that I'm reviewing it. So I do go for the low, this high node, and I wanted this higher node because I know it's going to get trapped here. Also, we zipped down by 2 ticks. So for me, it's just a solid. It just seems pretty solid for a continuation down. What is it? Just looking at it, it goes against me 3, and I take a 2 tick loss on it. So it's going to get hung up here at 96.75 because it's a higher node. So you're going to see this. Naturally, you see this back and forth. Exit would be, ideally, would be on the 97.50. Because once it gets back in there, it's going to stay up there. So it's looking good. The strength meter is starting to roll into my favor. Quite a bit of red on the tape, which is great. Seems pretty mixed, but currently where we're sitting. So you can see I'm covering for my exit right here if things get out of control. That's not a good sign. at 68. But with this particular trade, sometimes when you take these trades, you got to just forget about it. Forget about the order flow and just know it's a good level and then play it. Yeah, the order flow is important, but you got to also discount it at times because otherwise you'll freak yourself out and panic out. Because I know this has a higher probability of continuing down. So it goes in my favor 4. I want to see what kind of dumbassery I made. A lot of red on the tape. I'm loving that. Now the one's starting to roll, you can see. There you go. Pretty extended move. It's getting really nuts in here. A lot of red on the tape. Even though it's coming back up. That's a lot of smaller orders. Quite a few smaller orders. It seems like larger traders do break up their orders in here. So that way it doesn't show on the tape if you're running a filter like I am. And there you go, the stochastics crossing. And the 3 went to an oversold level. It came up, and I'll see it a lot of time this pattern where it'll do what you're seeing happen now, where it'll look like it's going to go back through, but it ends up crossing right on the 30. Yeah, now that it's starting to get blue on the tape. I don't know why this says it went against me. No, it went. I don't see what it says. It went in my favor 4, but it seems like it's only gone in my favor 3. So that makes no sense unless it pulls back in. And for me, it's just this particular trade just looks like it. Yeah, what the fuck? That's where I get out. It just wasn't looking good. It was right there. It was button up against my exit. So, I had to get out. And what's interesting is you had all this red on the tape, but it just got pushed. So I almost feel like I need to take my filter down. Because it's on 20 on the tape, but you're not seeing it. It was red forever. So I'll show you the exit again. It's right at my level. And for me, it's like it shouldn't have stopped here. It should have theoretically came back down, but what do I know, man? So you can see it's not looking good. I've tried to queue out for a 2-ticker, which luckily I do. Luckily I get it, and then bam, it zips up at the last fucking second, and I don't think. So I queued out relatively well, and that could have turned into a 4-tick loss. And check it out, you got this 450 here. So really I queued out pretty well. You have this dramatic push up too, kind of like that other trade I wanted to take. It just makes no sense to me. Like, it shouldn't have done what it did, but it did, and it is what it is. What is this? What's this next one? 950? Hold on here. 950. Okay. So we want to look at a trade at 950. Oh, too much. Oh, wait a second. We need to look at the one at 933. Oh, this actually happens right around the same time, because that last trade I got out at 9:30, so this next one's at 9:33. What is it? Let's pause. This is the minus 50, which is the biggest loss of the day. Goes against me 5, goes in my favor 2, so overall this is just shitty trade. It's a short 1 minute and 39 for the duration. So I attempt to go for a short. Why do I go for? Oh, look at that. Did you see the VPOC flip down? Yeah. Watch the VPOCs shift. We'll go from here down. So I catch that out of the corner of my eye. I'm marking it. So I'm letting myself know VPOC MD for move down. So I think in theory, since this move down, I'm thinking, you know what, it might do a bounce here again. And test the lows. Actually get in at 96.75. Because it's this higher node. This is the second time I go for it. It just fucking didn't work out. There it goes. It's working out. So for me, the way it's falling in dramatically, we had the bounce here, the VPOC shift, and it shifted again. So the point of the VPOC is moving down. So I'm like, this makes sense for a short. And I'm trying to get in an early position for this breakout to the low that never comes. But if it does, usually I want to be in early for the breakout. And it just doesn't even work out. See, this isn't good. You have a higher low here. But what's good is it's stopping right at here. This is a high volume edge where the VPOC is, so it's looking like resistance, and this is sort of where I want to get out. If we go through 97.50, that's my risk. Which, you know, what is it doing? It's trading into it. The ask is a lot lower than the bid. Now it's kind of waning. So I'm hoping at this point, you can see I'm covering it, and I'm hoping this is going to be rejection, and I'll push back down again. And it just fucking goes. That I get out there because it just, I'll show you. It's my minus 50 right there. So I'm down 12.50 after this trade. Right there, I don't like that. Just aggressive buyers coming in. This is 124 versus 165. If it gets so low, you got that tick up. It'll pop back down, and I got out somewhere in there. I'm so fast it happened, and that was just it. I couldn't hold it anymore. It's just such a dramatic pop up that we're not testing down here anymore for a while. It's going to continue up. We've had our tests down here, so you can see that you can see it's stuck up here. It's going up higher. So that would have got even worse if I didn't take the $50 loss. So now here's the redemption. The 62.50 win. So I'm down 12.50. This will put me back at 50. This is a the longest trade of the day at 7 minutes and 38 seconds. We go long. It goes against me 3. It goes in my favor 7. I take 5 ticks out of it. So let's go to that trade right now. And it is at 9. Just a moment here. This trade is at 9:51. It's going to be right here. So what this... I want to show you something on a chart. So this particular trade is at 99 even. Okay, you'll see. Wait a second. 3,198. What the fuck? That makes no sense to me. 3,199. Even. What the fuck? Oh, that's the Z. I need this to be H. That's why. Not sure how to change symbols. This needs to be rolled over, but it's not. If you guys can just bear with me here. That sucks. I do want to show you something important. Describe in this section. Let me close this out. Oh, this is embarrassing. Okay, let's try this now. Is this my H? Why are you not the H? It should be H. Why is this not? Yes, roll over. There you go. Right on. Okay. Okay. I apologize. So, let me show you what's going on here. This is a really solid play. What are we at? 99.25, 99.25. We're currently there, which is interesting. Okay. So notice this. Let me cut the camera. Okay, so notice this profile rolls, and then there's this random low node here at 99.25. Okay, and the VWAP's here. This has been acting as hardcore resistance. So this was sort of a profile play from the previous days. This is what keyed me off to this. 99.25. Remember, it's this low node. 99.25 matches up with the point of control from 3 days ago, so Monday. And it's right above the point of control for Tuesday. And then we're kind of on this low-noted weird... Just this low node in general is going to act as sort of a resistance. So this is going to be resistance. We're kind of trading into it as well. I mean, you can't just look at the blue line and say that's resistance. Just this area in general from 99.25 to 98.75, these three price levels are just going to be resistance in general, and these are the VPOCs for these 2 days. So it's holding it down, and once we cross the threshold, it should be an easier move up. What is that? 200 even. So I know that if we can get through this low node, it's also the VPOC on the other days that we're getting over the top of the mountain, and it should be easier once we get through there. Stochastics are all looking good for this particular trade. And again, we don't... What was I going to say? Yeah, we don't test back down here. So it's good that I bailed. Okay, so now we crossed the low node threshold. This is where I want to take my long, right in this area. The problem is there's this high size sitting here. It's been coming on and off, so that could be a problem. So I'm just waiting. I want to get in here. We tick up, and the reason I made this entry, I go for it. I want to see that get cleared out. It gets cleared out, and look, this is at 283. And there's aggressive buyers just coming in. It just looks good. This looks like a fucking solid move. Get the fill. Of course, it pulls back in. It's not quite that good. My exit would be the 98.50 because it's a high volume edge. What does this go against me? It goes against me 3 ticks. And see, at this point, it ain't looking good because now I got 400 on the fucking ask here. But it's still, it's in there. It's not pulling off. That 400 is not pulling off. But I decide, it's going to go for it. It's just sitting against that size. It's not just bouncing off like we've seen in other plays. It's embedding itself up here. So, and this is also the point of control from for the previous 2 days. So naturally, we're gonna have this fight here. A lot of volume and this chopping back and forth is going to happen here. So that's a natural thing. But also, we got to test the other side of the profile because we had rejection at the bottom, at the lows. And when you have that, it goes to the other side. There's a high probability it'll do that. And this is it. This is what it's going for it. So again, this is sort of a longer trade, so I'll fast forward a little bit. You can see it's just a lot of sideways motion. Very sideways, and then we'll go ahead and watch that. We'll watch the breach of the size. So it's 440. Somebody just aggressively lifts it, but the thing is there's no block coming in. So it's like somebody's using less than 20 and zipping it in, because my tape is absolutely useless right now, because I have a 20 and under filter. Anything under 20, I don't want to see it, but that's kind of, it's useless right now. So now we're breaching it, which is good, which is real good. As far as finding a target, also 200's a really nice number. Finding a target is sort of difficult in here. Just it's the, you got low node, high node, low node, high nodes, low nodes. So it's going to be very turbulent getting through this. It does get interesting here in a moment. So I'm hoping it goes up near the overnight high, and if it's going to reverse, it's going to reverse up there. And also, if you look at the profiles, for 3 days now, we haven't been able to get through this level. Yeah, we breached it a little bit, but overall, there's quite a few sellers up here. There's just, the buyers can't get through this zone. And the concern is this high note at 01 even with the 439. Look at it. It's attacking it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Back printing. I love it. It's good. This is the little high node here. This is the high node in this zone. So we just need to start testing the other side of the high node. A lot of stalling here. Strength meters in my favor. Yeah, it's back ticking, which isn't good. Still holding. Stochastics are all almost overbought, but, you know, this should be sort of a bounce. See how it's pulling in and it bounces off the high node here? So that's nice. It's nice it's doing that. Now this is my concern. Now you got 400. You got all these 400s. But again, when the market starts to go the other way, usually you have that, the winning team pump up size. So, you know. And you'll see why I bail. Yeah, it's 410 here, starting to print size on the heat map. And also, notice the size right up here. Notice how thick it's gotten right in there. That's my major concern. And this is starting to develop into a high volume edge. So I decide I had enough of it because it's just getting so thick up here. And when did I get out at? I get out at 75. Yeah, see, that was a good move. See how it just pulled back in? So that was a good move to get out there. It just, I think it does bounce and it goes back up. Nope, it starts chopping sideways. That was a fantastic play. That was really, really the best play so far. So the next trade, so at this point I'm up 50. The next trade is $25. 2 ticks. It goes in my favor. 3 goes against me. 1. It's a 2-minute 26-second duration, and I go long on it. So give me a moment to get that up and running. Yeah, here's a future version. Oh, this is at 2 o'clock, so this is way later. Notice how the profile is filled in. There's overnight high. It did breach it. I had stepped away for lunch, but notice how the whole profile is now filled in. So this is at 2 o'clock now. So this is way later in the afternoon. So you pretty much market open, and now we're trading near the end of it all here. What am I looking for on this? 2. Oh, I know why I take this trade. Hold on. So I take this trade because you sort of have this push. This is sort of that, how can I say it? Remember that trade I missed earlier where it bounces and it goes up to the point of control? This is sort of the same thing on a smaller scale, and it doesn't really have to do with a profile edge, but it's happening. It's the same type of setup, just on a smaller scale, and it's mid-profile. So you had this dramatic down move, and then we start bouncing here. So theoretically, my assumption for this trade is it'll do the same thing and pull up and hopefully test up here. Near the high volume edge. I take it because it just the way the size pulled off, let it trade into it, and then it came back on and just bounced it. And it just looks like a good solid trade. How long does this go on? 2 minutes. I got the 474 here, which is nice. Bangs up. Just needs to start and needs to hit out the VPOC, which is 200, which is a huge psychological level for whatever reason. Trying to front run here, and in my eyes, it should get there. It should get there. Because this type of move, it's sort of a It blows past the market where it was being held up, and then it reverses, and when it comes down again, when it comes down by a few ticks and it reverses, generally it'll go back and attempt to test the other side. So now I'm attempting to get this, because this stalling it's not pushing as fast as I expected it to. Completely stalled. That's not a good sign. I have good size on my entry. You can see the 421, but completely stalled. And when it just like no volume comes in, generally there might be a little bit of a pop of volume, and then this dramatic push. So it's looking good. I just, do I cancel that order? It's just like, is it really going to get through that 423, you know? So it's... Yeah, it's just nothing there. It's not looking good. It just, and there's your back printing. I take it out. I take it out right when that 3 came in. Was that the right decision? We'll see. I mean, look, it does pull back in and then it goes back up, but it's so... just that lack of volume, and this is the VPOC, so it could start chopping around in here, and it just... I would say that wasn't really one of the best. It really wasn't an A+ setup by any means, and just everything else, it just doesn't look good. What did the... Actually, let's see what the stochastic look like on that. Looks good. Yeah, the stochastic's rolling over. Okay, so that's the $25 trade. Now we start to piss it away again. This is minus 1250. It's a 54-second duration. Short 2 against me, 2 for me. Actually, all 3 of these trades are sort of stringed together, and this is a reversal. This minus 3750 to the 6250. Testing down here, we're breaking this level, and this level, this is sort of, remember, this is where I exited that last trade. So now that size is sort of pulling off. For me, this would be what I dubbed the support flip. It's like the resistant flip I have for my playbook play. And it's just, oh, hold on. Okay. It's already gone through a few ticks, but then the size just came in to hold it up. But this is the flip. I need to see size act as resistance, and I'm not seeing it for it to be the perfect playbook play. It's an obscenely thick market, so these 400s are very confusing. And then it's just zips, man. There it is. There's your size closing it off. It's been cut off. So this is where I want to look for the entry. Definitely don't want to buy the bottom of this and then it flips back up. Get in on there. It's looking good. And I'm hoping this thing continues to the taper down here, but you know, I saw these blocks, it looked good to me, and they just freaking, I got the size up here holding it down. So this is the flip. It could take a while for it to play out. It looks good. Looks good. Starting to get pinched. So you got the 400 versus the 400 with 2 ticks of nothing. So they're pinching it at this point. So this actually turns into a really good fight. It's pretty intense. So I just queue out for a 1 tick loss because I'm like, I'm not really confident in it. And I want to see what's happening here. You can see it's sort of banging around. It's being pinched by the size you can see on the heat map. Plus, I wanted a better position. I was just it wasn't a good position in general. So if I do go for a short again here, but I want a better position. I'm gonna let this whole deal play out. It's got the 604 there, so that's good. This is a great flip, but I just, something about it just doesn't feel right. You got a lot of blue on the tape. Q in. Obviously, my risk is going to be if this flip fails, if that size starts to pull off above me at the 99 even. So this is the next trade. Let's go ahead and look at it. Minus 37.50. Goes against me 4, goes in my favor 2. It's a 4-minute and 7-second duration. Let the whole deal play out. Because this is a playbook play, but it fails and it reverses. It's a good reversal, really it is. So, I mean, the last trade's great. You know, I lose 50 and I make 62.50 off of these 3 trades, so I end up getting up an extra tick. So it's starting to look good. I'm like, you know, maybe that was the bounce. It needed a little bit of a bounce. And this looks, to me, this looks great. This looks like the strength meter's in my favor. Yeah, the 1 minute's oversold, but, you know, again, it's just a fucking stochastic. It's not. But at the same time, it is a bit concerning. You can see I put my exit down there at 97 even just because that looks like a zone it'll get hung up on. You got the higher node at 96.75. And, you know, at this point, I realize that the day is just this grindy mess that it will take a long time for setups to even play out. So, I mean, just look at that. So, it's just that size right here. It's been relentless. Now, I think at some point it gets a little crazy. It does get good. See how it's sort of just like quiet, like nothing's happening? That's concerning. So, you know, I got 534, 521. That's great. Got another 500. Watch this 600 get freaking whacked. This is what scares me. You have 601 here, and the market is not being pushed down. So I know that's going to get whacked. No aggressive sellers are coming in. And see how it's... And it all pulled off. It pumped up and it pulled off, and only half got filled. Now you got the 410 on my entry. You got all these 400s. Look at that. That just so much pulled off. That right there, I'm like, that's not good. Like, it was in the 500. It's only 24 hit in, and now you got 371. That's it. So that tells me sellers are stepping out of the way. And this is my level. This level's got to hold. 99 is the resistant flip. It's pumped up, but, you know. Back ticking. There it goes. I'm like, so I got to get the fuck out of there. Right there. You saw that? The back ticking, just, it. So at this point, I'm like, you know, the flip didn't work. I mean, it kind of did, but didn't work out like expected. Now we're getting into the, what is it? The final trade, 62.50. 2-minute and 42-second duration. It doesn't even go against me, which is beautiful. 6 ticks favor. 2:38. What time is it on here? This is 2:38, so I immediately get in. This is a reversal, but it's not like a straight up reversal where I get in, get out at exactly the same time. I need to see size come in right here at the 99 even, because this would be a resistant flip play. So it went from a support flip back to a resistant flip. The VWAP is a bit concerning being right there. So I decide, you know what, we're on the VWAP. We're getting up there. Buyers are clearly aggressive. Look at the tape. You got the 1 minute stochastic. It kind of crossed and rolled right near this bottom. So there's a higher probability it should go up without hesitation. So I should be able to get a few ticks out of it. Just a freaking perfect entry. Absolutely perfect fucking entry. Got to get to that point of control. Got to get to that VPOC. Such a thick market, too. Front running that size, we obviously bounced off of it several times. Now you got size stepping up right here. At the VPOC, you got the 530. It's a bit concerning. Right here, I'm not sure exactly where my exit would be. That's why I give myself a B. Get through that. Look at that. Only 154. So check, unless I clear it. Watch this 530. Goes down to 3. Just kind of like what we've been seeing down here. So they're stepping out of the way. It's only at 150. Only 154 there. So it's all bullshit. All that ask was bullshit. So, you know, this just looks good to at least hit my target, which is... Actually, I think I get out at that target. Bit grindy, of course. And I think this is the move it takes forever to get me out. You got the 500s down here. That's beautiful. Beautiful. Look, it's taken forever to hit that target. This pumps up to 500, blasted down. I know for a fact this 648 is going to be difficult. It's a high volume edge, and it's been coming on and off for a little while now. So that's a legit zone. 319 in the queue. They're just taking forever. Boom, there it is. Done. Done for the day. Well, I'm not done for the day. It actually goes up into that zone, but then it gets capped. So, I fast forward it. I mean, look, I was one tick from the top. Didn't go against me, so that's the fucking play of the fucking day. And I turned it and I reversed it because this shit wasn't working out. So 87.50 for the day. One of the hardest days. Very difficult day. That's it for this trade review.